Hello Queens and Kings, let us make this headband together. So these are the materials that we'll be using. Here I'm using Duchess satin. So you're going to have 3 pieces of our Duchess satin. These are the measurements of the 3 main big pieces that you are going to cut out from your material. And then you're going to have a smaller piece. So this piece will be for your elastic casing. So this is also the measurement for my smaller piece. Yes. And now this is my measurement for my elastic. If you want to make it more longer, maybe you can use a 8-inch longer elastic. That is okay too. It all depends on the size of the head. So this is the foam that I'll be using to add inside my tubes, and you can also use loose cut material just to fill up your tubes. Now we're going to start off by stitching our pieces. So you're going to start off by joining bending the right part with the right part, so the part that will be exposed will be the wrong part of the material. So for the small piece, which is the elastic case, you're just going to sew at the top straight from one corner to the other. Now we're going to move on to our big pieces. Also for our big pieces, you're going to bend the right side, will be on the inside, and then you expose the wrong side of your material. So how you're going to sew? You're going to sew the very same way with your elastic case at the top from one corner to the other. So that's how you're going to join from one corner to the other at the top. Yes, just like that. That's how you're going to stitch your material and join the pieces nicely. Don't forget to backstitch. Yes. Now these are my pieces. I have done the stitching. So this is our elastic casing and then our 3 pieces. So as you can see, just to show you that there's still space that we left out on the sides, we do not stitch on the side, just at the top. This is because we need space so that we can be able to add our foam in future. Once you've done your stitching, now you're going to turn your material inside out. Now it depends on which method that will be easier for you to use. I use a pen or a big spoon. Sometimes I use a ruler. It just depends. So just make sure that you turn your material nicely inside out. Once you've flipped all your material, you're going to iron your material. So iron them nicely, nice and flat. It will be easier to work with. Now that I've ironed, this is how my material is looking like. Yes. Now we're going to work on adding the elastic into the the elastic casing. So get a safety pin and pin it at the one edge of your elastic. This will help you to move your elastic through. So what you're going to make sure, you're going to pass your elastic on one side until the other tip is not showing, so that we can be able to sew it nicely. So make sure you don't put the entire elastic, but not to the point where it disappears from the tip of your material. So this is the back of our elastic. I'm just gonna stitch just the tip, just to make sure that one side of our elastic is secured. So we're just gonna stitch a line over to make sure that our elastic is nice and secure on one side. I've done my stitching on the other side. Now I'm going to continue with my safety pin and pull my elastic on the other side. Once you have pulled your elastic nicely, now you're also going to secure your elastic by stitching over on the other side. Make sure that you secure your elastic. Now this is our elastic casing. This is how it looks, queens and kings. Now we're going to put this on the side and now work on our 3 tubes. Now you're going to start off by inserting your foam into your tubes or your loose materials. Other people use cotton wool, the industrial cotton wool, yes, to put in the tubes. But I have the foam, and this is the foam that I'm using. I just cut it into thinner strips and then I poke it inside. So I'll continue adding more foam until I'm satisfied with the thickness. Make sure that you don't leave gaps inside the tubes. Make sure that you fill the materials nicely so that it's thicker evenly and properly. Yes. Once you filled out the tubes, you leave a little bit of space. That will be allowance for when we stitch the tubes together. Now these are the tubes, nice and filled. What we're going to do now, we are going to stitch them together. Now when you stitch your tubes, make sure that the side of your seam is facing downwards for all the tubes. So the sides where you had your seam, they should all face in the same direction, so that we can be able to establish the inside and the out. So you join them together on one side. Now that you've joined your tubes together in the machine, now you are going to braid your tubes. You braid them nicely, make sure it's nice and tight when you braid it. And the stitch part is also on one side, yes. When you get to the end, you stitch the pieces together. Make sure that your braiding is nice and secure first, and then when you're done, you stitch the pieces together in your machine. So this part that shows the seam is going to be our underneath or the inside part of our headband, and this part is going to be the outside part of our headband. We've done our stitching of joining the two sides together. Now let's bring back our elastic casing. So we're going to join our elastic casing to the main headband. Now what you're going to do, you're going to place your elastic casing on the right side of your headband. So this is the right side. You're going to place it on the right side, and then you're going to fold the sides of your headband to cover your casing. And then once you've done that, you're going to stitch over and secure the elastic nicely. This is after stitching our elastic. So if you stitch, you see when you're facing the elastic casing on the right side, it makes it neater because the front part is showing nicely. Now you do the very same thing on the other side, where you place your elastic on the right side, the front side of your headband, and then you're going to fold the sides into your casing to make it nice and secure, and then you stitch over the elastic. This is it. So now to make it neat, so this is the inside part. Now you turn your headband nicely into the right side, and this is how it is. Stretch it nicely. Yes, and this is how it looks like. So this is the headband, queens and kings. Thank you so much for watching. As you can see, it's very nice and easy to do. Yes, thank you so much for watching, queens and kings. I love you guys so much. Remember to love yourself, respect yourself, honor yourself, and have fun. See you on the next video. Bye.